diving into game number 1.
Indeed, we are. We are spawning into inside and out. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming down from the land of the US of A. He is, of course, going to be representing the Cranky Ducklings. He is Vindicta.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the American Protoss player. He is blue. He is Protoss. He is MCanning.
America personified. I always love going into his Wikipedia profile and seeing him with the American sweatpants, carrying an American flag behind him as well, just running in the snow like Rocky.
Yeah, what more can you say? What more can you say about MCanning? Again, even though he hasn't had the most amazing DreamHack results this year, I believe it was last year where he had an insane run in DreamHack Winter, DreamHack Fall, DreamHack Summer of 2021. So he's, you know, a scary player in his own right. He can be very unpredictable. Oh, as he throws down that spray.
Already a little bit of spice being thrown down here. Really just saying, you will not dethrone me yet, Vindicta.
Oh, exactly, and he gets a full scout for the main base as well. Pretty important, as Vindicta is going for a double gas opener here in this TVP, has become quite a staple and quite meta as well to kind of delay our natural bases and for the Terran player to be a little bit more aggressive.
Oh yeah. Gonna be getting that factory out as soon as possible, just like so. What are we feeling here? Light Hellions or Cyclone?
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of this. I'm sure Vindicta wants to get rid of this probe soon as well before he really commits to anything. His first Reaper is going to be able to clean this up. He does have a second Reaper on the way as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Vindicta does end up starting a couple of Hellions here to meet up.
Yeah, it's a really good early game sort of scouting composition. Of course, the priority here is to just dive in with your Hellions and with your Reapers to get a real good scout off, but there's always damage potential to be had there as well. Probes don't have a lot of health, let me put it that way.
They really don't. They really don't. And Vindicta's going to find that out himself as he's going to slip on into the natural base and into the main, just confirm the opener. Going to get an eye on that tech as well to see if there was a Stargate, a Robo, or a Twilight Council.
Yeah, hasn't quite been able to jump in, but seeing the Adept first, you get a couple of ideas. MCanning is definitely spending that gas somewhere early.
Yeah, exactly. The Twilight Council just hidden behind behind the main base. Vindicta is going to be making a beeline for it soon with these Reapers. Meanwhile, he did end up making the Hellions, but only a single Hellion. From here, he's going straight into Widowmine production.
Ooh, I like it. Some good old Widowmine drops early on, just to really disrupt your opponent's economy.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, the first Hellion is going to dip on in. It's only one Hellion, so it shouldn't really deal too much damage here. Nice splits already on these workers. It's going to go down, but for the time being, it is distracting that Adept so the Reapers can get in and get a scout.
Yeah, they get a full-on scout. They do see that Twilight Council, and even able to take out a couple of probes as well. 4 of them go down for the cost of 2 Reapers plus that Hellion. Not too bad.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that's kind of a good trade here for Vindicta, especially because those Hellions and Reapers, they do kind of get outscaled as the game goes on. You know, they run out of value over time. So a great start here. Meanwhile, Adept is going to waddle across the map, but
I love this move here from Vindicta. Nobody expects the mine in the middle of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Very nicely done. And now MCanning is going to be in the dark right now. He hasn't seen anything. He won't be getting eyes on how saturated the natural base is going to be, what follow-up units are going to be as well. He's aware of the Widowmines, so he should be anticipating some kind of drop with those Widowmines.
Yeah, but so far his Stalkers are kind of placed in the natural base, not quite in the main, ready to intercept. He is getting Blink though, which will definitely help him trying to chase the medevac as it tries to retreat, but he is completely unprepared for the medevac zooming into the main right now.
Yeah, he's in position that is natural, don't get us wrong. He's got 3 Stalkers and a Sentry as well, but his main is looking quite exposed here. If he's able to react in time, he should be able to minimize those losses. He only has to deal with 2 Widowmines, not, say, 4.
Yeah, and it's a Widowmine drop without an armory, so of course, at the very most, he... Ideally, anyway, he'll only be losing 2 probes to that, and then he'll be able to clean up those Widowmines. No need for detection there. Shouldn't be able to reset.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, we do have a Lucidity Scout coming into the main base. Does get eyes on the Raven, does get eyes on the production as well. At the same time, do see Vindicta distracting his opponent a little bit. I'm waiting to see if a couple more Stalkers get drawn to this Marine, and then we dive in. But for the time being, Vindicta, he's still just chilling there with that drop. He hasn't gone in yet.
Yeah, I like this from Vindicta. He's just trying to maximize the effectiveness of this potential drop, but there is a pretty limited window where this double Widowmine drop can go in and do damage. Even if he wants to push out with the Marines and the tanks and simultaneously drop in, it's just 2 Widowmines.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, it is 2 Widowmines, you know? So you could get a lot of damage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the duality of Widowmines right there.
Yeah, it's like, mate, it's just 2 Widowmines I made, though. It's 2 Widowmines. We do see the Raven dipping on in, and here we go. The multi-prong harassment has begun. We have Widowmines into the main, a Raven in towards the natural.
And this is a real attention splitter. The mines do not get any sort of response. 13 probes in total do go down. Fantastic start here from Vindicta. MCanning, he's not that far behind if we look at the worker count on its own, but he is getting a Robo-Bay. He just threw down a bunch more gateways. MCanning needs to be in a much healthier economic position right now for the tech he's going for, and for the army composition he's going for.
And I'm just really concerned here because the damage has been done. You know, he's still being active. At least he's still containing Vindicta to 2 bases with these Stalkers, but he hasn't really been able to do much else. And what worries me is that these Widowmines are still alive. Like Vindicta, he can just do that again.
Pretty much. I think the Raven survived as well. Dark Shrine! Now we're going NA.
Yes, when behind Dark Shrine. At the same time, here we go. Vindicta's main army is going to be moving on out. MCanning does have eyes on this. He's going to be able to slow this down, pick off a couple of units here and there, almost get some Marauder for his troubles. But now everything is coming together for Vindicta.
The Widowmines have reset. Some of the probes have retreated. Some of the others, unfortunately, weren't able to split off in time. This auto turret is being dealt with very nicely by that Immortal. That Raven doesn't have any energy on it left, but doesn't matter in the end, though, because Vindicta is knocking down MCanning's door.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, MCanning does have eyes on this. He just lost his Observer, so he's not going to get eyes on the rotation, though, as Vindicta is going to circle around here, going to try and get in towards the natural base. We do see Vindicta is expanding behind this. MCanning, even though he did lose a lot of workers, he has a 3rd base, so he's been able to catch up. But what about the fight?
Is such an unfortunate supply block as well for MCanning. 3 pylons did just about finish up, but he needed those pylons to be done by now.
Yeah, exactly. He really did. Now he's going to be able to warp in. Dark Shrine is about to finish up, and that means that Vindicta will need some scans here to be able to clean up that army.
Yeah, I don't believe his Raven is in position to really deal with DTs, but I fear that... Okay, that's actually just a Zealot right now. Yeah, MCanning is hiding his cards very well.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't revealed it. Meanwhile, the Widowmine jump comes in for the 3rd time. It looks like, okay, only a handful of probes are going to be going down, but here come the reinforcements for Vindicta. He's going for the kill. He goes for a bit of a premature scan. Again, we still have DTs available for MCanning.
There's some beautiful splits coming out from Vindicta, by the way. Really good pre-concave as well. Robo Facility will go down, so these 2 disruptors are the only source of AoE that MCanning has to deal with the Terran Bio army.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of potential here with these disruptors, but he just hasn't been able to get any of the Novas to really connect. He hasn't been able to edge any closer either. These tanks haven't done too much damage, but they have just been able to zone out MCanning from his own natural base.
They really have. It's a really good position in the tanks as well. Okay, actually, a little closer they would have been, you know, able to shell away at that gateway, but I understand why Vindicta wants to be a little bit more conservative. Finally, this medevac has been dealt with. Those 2 Widowmines are not going to bother a middle line anymore.
Yeah, but they don't need to anymore.
But the army might.
Yeah, the army might. That Raven is still alive, by the way. Props to Vindicta for, again, just avoiding the use of F2. Meanwhile, the DTs have been revealed. We have the scan. The first DT goes down.
And the first DT, yeah, does get taken out.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, a couple more Novas. Oh, God!
Down!
A little bit of friendly fire.
Yeah, just a little bit. Could have definitely been worse here, but MCanning is definitely a little bit frazzled right now by Vindicta's army control. Even more friendly fire here, but I guess it doesn't matter in the end because MCanning isn't able to take advantage of that. GG, Vindicta takes game number 1.
GG, well played. Vindicta seeming to be a little bit in full control in that game. I don't think there was ever a moment where MCanning was able to apply any pressure to Vindicta. Even, like, despite the fact that he got the Dark Shrine, we didn't really see any DTs morphed in across the map to deal any harassing damage. Like, MCanning, he was just struggling to survive back at home.
Yeah, he was containing Vindicta really well on those two bases. But little did he know, Vindicta wasn't planning on getting a third base that game. At least not, before he pushed out with his main army.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we were touching on the fact that Vindicta did go for a 2-gas opener. It is a little bit more aggressive, less economic, of course, but well worth it because we saw how much damage he dealt with that opener, with his initial Reapers and Hellions, with the follow-up Widowmine drop, with the Raven harass. That Raven survived the entire game, by the way. And the Widowmines almost survived the entire game as well. The Widowmine drop, I mean. So, yeah, we just saw how effective Vindicta was with his units and how MCanning was really struggling to defend.
Yeah, he was definitely very, very patient with that mine drop too. I was, again, very, very worried for a while. There is a window of opportunity when you're going for a Widow Mine drop opening when if you wait too long, your opponent's going to have Blink Stalkers ready. Your opponent may even get some cannons out to be able to deal with that Widow Mine drop, but that wasn't what transpired this time. Vindicta just waited until he was absolutely able to split all of MCanning's focus between that Raven and that Widowmine drop, and in the end, it paid off big time.
It really did. It really did. So shout out to the patience there of Vindicta. We saw that MCanning, he wasn't too far behind probe-wise, like because he went for a faster third Nexus, like he was, again, re-droning or re-probing quite quickly. But again, that's all resources spent in remaking probes and not so much his army, not so much his tech. So he did end up falling behind over time. But we'll see if that does change as we get into game number 2.
Yeah, this time on a much larger map. Tropical Sacrifice.
Yeah, because it's larger, of course, MCanning is going to have a little bit more heads up when it comes to these big ground-based pushes. But we'll see if that helps in game 1. Game 2, sorry.
Might as well be game 1 as we load into game number 2 on Tropical Sacrifice in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in that top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Terran player coming down from the land of the US of A. He is, of course, going to be representing the Cranky Ducklings. He is Vindicta Mix.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the American Protoss player, currently down in this series, but not out. Not yet. It is MCanning.
Now, I do have a bit of a confession to make here. In the last game, I kind of forgot who I was casting. I saw the Robo Bay get thrown down. Immediately, I was thinking, all right, Colossus, great defensive unit with Thermal Lance. I saw Disruptors, I got confused for a second, and I was like, oh, right, it's MCanning.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something to take note of. I think maybe we're a little bit caught up just because, after a long 40-minute delayed start, we just wanted to cast some StarCraft. But it was quite odd. It is not standard at all to get the Bay and rush out Disruptors instead of Colossi. As you were saying, it is very high risk, high reward. And when you do things like that, you need to make sure that your Novas count. You need them to connect because you're sacrificing that kind of more consistent early on AoE damage of the Colossus.
Yeah, it's, like you said, not as reliable as the Colossus. It's high risk, high reward, but man, when that risk pays off,
True.
It pays off big time. And MCanning, it's a very stylistic thing with him. I love watching him stream and him just consistently going for Disruptors.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you know what MCanning did may not be consistent, but he's going for the clips, papi, okay? He's going for the highlight moments, mate. That is what he wants in life, and we'll see if he gets it. Meanwhile, SCV did sneak out behind the natural base of MCanning, and we do see a bunker on the way. MCanning has no idea.
None whatsoever. Of course, this bunker isn't going to decide the result of this game, but it can be very, very annoying when paired up with a Reaper. It's essentially just denying mining for Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, a good solid minute or two.
Yeah, this is just very annoying for MCanning to deal with. He will deal with it, don't get us wrong. Like, MCanning is good enough to recognize, okay, he's going to have to get a Stalker out. He's got Adept on the way. We should be seeing a Shield Battery as well. We'll see if he's actually able to maybe even get a kill on this Reaper. No, he will not. Reaper does get into the safety of that bunker.
Yeah, nice quick reaction coming out here from Vindicta. Shield battery just about being thrown down here just in case he needs to utilize it. Second Reaper actually going across the map right now with... Does he have a Hell? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, the Hellions on the way as well. So a very similar opener from game number 1 from Vindicta, other than the fact that he has made additional units. Can he make it in? Up! Oh.
Great KD8 charge.
Wow. Oh my god, that was so close. If it wasn't for the KD8 charge, I think that second Reaper may have gone down. Meanwhile, the Hellion does slip into the main base.
Yeah, it does get a full-on scout here and confirms that no tech choices have been made yet. Great drone drilling, though, by the side of MCanning, able to immediately surround that Hellion. It won't be annoying for too much longer. Well, it's not going to be annoying anymore. It's dead.
Ooh, and this is very interesting here. So the Hellion did buy a little bit of time, so that means that this bunker is still alive. It's going to take that much longer to deal with this. Nice micro so far. That SCV is still on full HP. Oh, even still able to avoid a couple of those shots.
Yeah. Oh. Thought for sure that low health Reaper was going to go down, but a very quick KD8 charge did get thrown down before the Reaper retreated back into the bunker. This is way more damage than a bunker in the natural has any right to do.
Exactly. 3 probes were killed, so much lost mining time. We did see a salvage on that bunker as well, and this is the most important thing. Both Reapers, oh no, they both go down.
Yep.
But they scattered the tech. I did take note, it was not a Twilight Council. He went for a Robo first.
Interesting. Are we doubling down on the disruptors this game?
If we wanted to, we could, and there we go. We have a very fast robotics bay.
You love to see it. I'm just waiting for the Warp Prism at this point. Maybe get some Warp Prism speed while we're at it, but Vindicta, with that double gas opening, is being so aggressive. He's moving across the map right now with Marines, with Cyclones, with a tank, and eventually a couple of Banshees to just back it all up.
Yeah, exactly. He did go for that 1-1-1. It was another double gas opener CC in the main base. Finally, he does take his own natural. It is late, but because of all that lost mine time, this is acceptable here. And I'm really worried for MCanning because Vindicta, he doesn't have to worry about defending at home. There's going to be no Oracle. There are no Blink Stalkers either. Like, you're very kind of pigeonholed with this opener. And Vindicta, he saw it all. And these Banshees are going to pose a bit of a problem.
Yeah, what shoots up right now? There's 2 Stalkers and a Sentry. Oh, 3 Stalkers, sorry, and 2 Sentries here from MCanning. Alright, I'd be sweating right now if I was Vindicta's Banshees.
Yeah, but there's no Blink, right? There's no Twilight Council, so it's going to be really difficult to keep up with this Banshee. Meanwhile, Vindicta's moving out. This will get spotted by the Observer. The first Colossi should come out in time for this push, but there's only going to be 1 Colossus.
Yeah, it won't have Thermal Ants just yet either, but like we were saying in the previous game, Colossus are a very, very reliable defensive unit early on for Protoss, at least when the Terran player is mostly relying on Marines.
Yeah, unfortunately that Banshee was on a bit of an A move there, so he does reveal himself a little bit prematurely. Meanwhile, the tanks do get in range of this natural, oh my god, of the production.
Yeah, not quite able to depower those gateways just yet, but he does draw the Colossus out into the open, right within tank range. Thankfully, MCanning is able to retreat and is able to get a little bit of shields back. But now the Banshees are grouping up.
Yeah, the Banshees are grouping up if they wanted to. They could even try and hunt down this Colossus, not gonna lie. Like, this is a little bit dangerous here. 2 gateways are gonna be going down. That Colossus taking a lot of tank shots. The first Disruptor is out. Is it gonna be enough?
Well, you gotta make every shot count right now. Great shade right on top of the Marines, causing a little bit of friendly fire. The Disruptor and the Purification Nova is able to deal with the tanks, but not before the Colossus goes down. Overall, I think that trade went a little bit more in Vindicta's favor.
Yeah, I mean, he got the Colossi. He was able to take out a couple of gateways, a couple of probes as well, but he did lose both tanks. A lot of the backbone here was taken away from Vindicta. Thankfully, he's still macroing on up. We have 2 more Angie bays on the way, more tanks. He does have that Raven, and he kept both Banshees alive here, so he's going to be forcing MCanning to at least keep some supply at home.
Yeah, a couple of Stalkers here in the mineral line, as opposed to across the map being annoying or trying to contain Vindicta. This is not something you want to see as the Protoss player. You're getting your 3rd base as your turn opponent already finishes up his own.
The SCV stuck.
Hashtag Yaku curse.
Yes,
You'll love to see it.
The poor SCV is stuck behind the NG base, and this isn't Brood War, so he can't get out. You know, I'm sure Vindicta, he's going to make a medevac just to save that one SCV. It's okay. He won't be trapped for the rest of his life, as we already have a third CC, third orbital about to finish up for Vindicta. Going to be expanding from here. There we go. There is that Rax explosion. 2 more gates are being thrown down, and he's still being active with these Banshees. We'll see how much more damage he can find.
If your target fires well enough, you should be able to get a ton of damage. There's a shield battery here, of course, but 2 Banshees one-shot probes.
They do. 6 probes do go down, and he's able to pull back just in time here. The Stalkers aren't able to keep up. Again, they still do not have Blink. And now these Banshees are going to be able to dip in once again. Very reminiscent of those Widow Mines from Game 1.
Yeah, now they just need to chill with the Ewoks.
The Moopies. The
Moopies, yeah.
As at the same time, MCanning does at least have eyes on the third base of Vindicta. He sees it being saturated as well, so he knows that there is no like weird 2-base all-in or anything like that coming his way. He feels safe enough to saturate his third and even take a 4th from here.
Yeah, he knows that the boys aren't going to be pulled, but regardless, he is still getting that Dark Shrine just to see if he can get some harass across the map, or, you know, worst comes to worst, they are a very effective defensive unit.
Yeah, and speaking of defensive units, this is a pretty defensive map as well. Speaking of Tropical Sacrifice, we saw it earlier on with the first push. Because there are so many ramps here, things like sentries, things like force fields can really come into play. It can be really difficult to push up into the 3rd or even 4th base of either player. So MCanning is going to have a bit of an easier time macroing and establishing himself in Game 2.
Yeah, already he's throwing down a couple of shield batteries by that 3rd base, but Vindicta does not want to give him that time to set up his defenses whatsoever. The army supplies are looking pretty similar, to be honest.
Yeah, they are looking similar. Pushing up a ramp into disruptors and into sentries is never going to be an easy thing, but MCanning is coming down to meet Vindicta.
Oh, that's definitely a bit of a questionable move. He was able to land 1 Purification Nova on 1 tank, but he sacrifices that disruptor in the meantime.
I mean, here we go. The Raven comes in as well. We have an anti-armor missile just blanketing the entire army of MCanning. We still have enough energy for a disable as well, and Vindicta is edging on closer. We were talking about how like we can be so defensive on this map, but again, he just pushed down into the open.
Yeah, you can't be defensive if you give up your defenses, unfortunately. Much as I wish that weren't true. Decent splits coming out from Vindicta, but the Colossus are providing a lot of splash damage. The bio is thinning out a little bit, but the tanks are still standing strong. And again, that is the backbone of the Terran bio army.
Yeah, exactly. Another anti-armor missile on only 1 Colossus. Meanwhile, the reinforcements are coming in. The Zealots will not get on top of those tanks. In the end of the 3rd base is going to go down. There was a Zealot run by here earlier, but it got cleaned up.
Yeah, those reinforcements back at home definitely helping out. Vindicta did take out that 3rd base, and now he's just looking to rotate around. He does not want to stay in one location for too long.
He really does, and again, we still have to respect these disruptors. We have 3 disruptors with the main army of MCanning, but there are so many tanks, and there's not a lot of buffer here for the robo units of MCanning.
That bait was so smart, landing that 1 tank to draw away all of the Zealots when they could be surrounded by bio. And now, speaking of surrounds, Vindicta slowly getting this concave on top of MCanning. 1 Purification Nova lands, but 3 tanks are still alive. The Colossus has lost their buffer. GG is called, and Vindicta will be taking that series to